Hello and welcome. It's Rose Smith here from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thank you so much for joining me. I have the Aries 2023 horoscope. Well, what a great year it's going to be because we've got a couple of influences that are very positive that are going to help humanity to a large extent. And they are Pluto going into Aquarius and Saturn going into Pisces. So stick around for that and we'll do your horoscope. Okay, and just to briefly explain, I like to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the year for you. You can take the first card as the first half of the year if you like, and the second card as the second half if you wish to. And then we'll have a look at your horoscope in depth. If you're new, subscribe and be alive. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Right, let's go to the board now. And we're going to pick these 2 cards. I'll close my eyes. And what do I see for awesome Aries for 2023? This is interesting. I've never seen this, I don't think, before. Somebody getting their ears pierced. Okay, so there might be a focus on what you hear this year, the things that you pay attention to and that sort of thing. Also, be aware of, the ears are sort of very holographic, and so all of those acupressure points in the ear, they relate to other parts of your body. So if you're getting them pierced, what does that mean? Okay, it's something for you to focus on. I'm not coming out and saying don't do it. I'm just saying think about it. Go and do some research. What does it mean to do that? All right, let's have a look at these cards. The first card, the 4 of Cups. You may have some memories coming back from the past about old loves. It's probably a romantic sort of love involved and a deep spiritual connection with this person because there's a red rose here and also these white spiritual roses. But out of that, whatever happened, even if it didn't work out long term, she's wearing green. There's a lot of growth and development. If you had a relationship a long time ago or even recently that didn't work out, this year you'll probably see the benefit or the silver lining to why things happened the way they did. The growth brings insight and awareness, and that will help you change your patterns so you don't have to, relive this thing over and over again. Spirit is literally handing you a gift here. The 4 of Cups. So even though there might have been some upset or sadness at some point, then there's another side to it where you can heal yourself. And you see here she's wearing gold and it's around her waist. Okay, this gold skirt around her waist. That's about the solar plexus, and that's helping you. These new energies coming in are going to help you towards success and attainment. So it'll be about things like finishing or completing jobs. Maybe you might think about this relationship that you may have had that didn't work out in some way. You might think about it in terms of how that person was like your father in some way, okay? Because solar plexus relates to fatherhood issues. So I'll leave that ball in your court, so to speak. But that is coming up. All right, we do have also a solar eclipse here in your 7th house of partnerships that might relate to this card, and it's in Libra. Libra loves love, okay? So to some extent, at least, your love life, or lack thereof, is going to be on the agenda this year. All right, now let's have a look at the second card for you, awesome Aries. What do I see? Okay, I see the water, and it's dark. It's sort of like darkest before the dawn, so to speak. I have a torch, or there's a big light here, shining into the water, and I can see it's very still. and it's a case of still waters run deep. And so I feel like if you start looking around in your subconscious, and you've got Neptune there at the moment, here in the 12th house, you're going to find some gifts. Some spiritual gifts are going to be given to you this year. Okay, let's see what card we get. And Page of Cups. Okay, you'll see the fish here. The fish relates to the subconscious waters, the fish in the cup. Okay, so messages coming from your subconscious. The Page of Cups is all about messages. And you'll see she's wearing different shades of blue, which we could link back to the water perhaps. But this indigo colour, this is the colour of the third eye. So you might find that this year, 2023, your psychic ability and your intuition increases. And this is the perfect segue into our horoscope, because the very first thing I've written is Eagle Eye Pattern. And this is how we're starting your year. And it's all about these two semi-sextiles here and this sextile here between Saturn, Neptune and Mercury. Mercury, the god of messengers, messages. He is the heavenly messenger, and Saturn will be going over into your 12th house, and Neptune's already there. So it is very much about subconscious messages, intuition, psychic ability. And it could have something, because we have Saturn here in your house of friends, groups and connections to start the year. It could have something to do with people that you let go of, or perhaps they don't understand your messages, your spiritual messages that you're getting. And we also have some interaction with Pluto that I'll talk about as well in a moment. Pluto going into Aquarius. So, it's in Capricorn just at the moment. It's going to nick into Aquarius, and then it'll be going back. It'll only be in Aquarius for a few months, then going back into Capricorn, and then next year in 2024, it will be in Aquarius until 2044. So 20 years is a long time, but that's going to bring up things like the death of relationships with friends and connections and groups, so that they can be reborn again in a better way. So it doesn't mean that the relationship necessarily is totally finished, but aspects of that relationship will die. And if there's enough spiritual connection between you, the relationship will continue on a new footing. Okay. Now, the other thing we're starting the year with is Mercury retrograde until January 18th. Your ruler Mars in your third house here is retrograde until January 12th. And Uranus here in your second house of finances is also retrograde until the 23rd of January. Mercury is up here in your 10th house. Okay, we also have the North Node retrograde as well. So there's, starting the year with these four retrograding, three of them are planets, and the North Node is not a planet, but it is an imaginary point in space that we use as astrologers to define your destiny and your future, the karmic aspects and things like that. So to have so many planets retrograde to start the year is a bit unusual, and it sort of suggests that the year is going to start kind of slowly. Maybe you're thinking about a lot of things, but there might not be a lot of things happening in the external world, okay? But as January proceeds, then they start to turn direct, and gradually there's more energy coming in. So with all of these, we might think that perhaps there's some surprising inner realities, some surprising thoughts that you're having, because Mercury does rule over the mental realms. and also communications, surprising or unpredictable communications that start your year off. With Mercury retrograde, be cautious because sometimes there's misunderstandings, and then with Mars retrograde at the same time, it could be that, you know, there's a few arguments or something like that. Be cautious when you're speaking, for example, particularly to a Gemini or a Virgo, or perhaps a Scorpio, because it could be that your ruler, Mars, it's going to affect you in some way, but particularly with those star signs. So just watch for arguments there. Now, to highlight some other things that are happening, we're going to have Jupiter here in your first house. Okay, this is pretty important because this is all about how you approach the world and your ideas about the world and how people perceive you. And at some point it's going to be conjunct Chiron, okay? And I've put the dates here, 24th of February until the 5th of March, Jupiter will be conjunct Chiron. And then later it will go into your second house, probably increasing your money supply or increasing the things you value, or perhaps your beliefs again could be sort of changed around possessions or money. But back to this point about Jupiter and Chiron conjuncting, there could be a situation that comes up where there's some sort of healing that happens, and sometimes when a healing happens you have to become aware of something first, and so there might be, you know, just watch for, as I said before, watch for arguments at the beginning of the year in January, because when this healing comes, then what will probably happen is your life will expand in a big way, and you'll be able to make your statement out into the world, and it's going to come out much clearer after Mars and January turn direct. Okay, so that's a fairly important one. So yeah, 24th of February to the 5th of the 3rd, they will be conjunct. Saturn going into Pisces, that's the 7th of March. And Saturn can sometimes be quite like restrictive or limit your options in some way. But when it goes into Pisces, that will be your 12th house, or the house of the goddess. And you might put some structure around your spiritual beliefs. You might decide that you're going to meditate, and you're going to meditate every morning at 7 a.m, for example. And so that's going to be really helpful in terms of really enlightening you and giving you a lot of insight. So combine that with this beautiful eagle eye pattern happening at the beginning of the year as well. You're going to really get a big boost to your intuition or your spiritual gifts. Then we have Pluto in Aquarius from the 23rd and 23rd of March, in fact. And that's what I was talking about before. That it could be the ending of some sort of friendship, because it's going into your 11th house here, or the ending of some sort of association with a group, perhaps. And Pluto is all about birth, death and rebirth. So it's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. So you might find the friendship or the group starts again on another level. It could be with the same people, or somebody different. The other thing that often goes with Pluto is very intense and compelling feelings coming from a very deep place. Sometimes there's things like, the not so nice things: abuse, control, power over, addiction. Those sorts of themes come up. So you might find you're seeing that in your friends in some way, and you don't want that in your life. perhaps. So that's your choice to decide what you want to do about it. We do have from the 16th of May to the 25th of May 2024, so just over a year, Jupiter will be going into Taurus here in your second house. This is fabulous for your money supply and new possessions that you might want. Perhaps you want to get a new car or something. North Node's already in there, so that's at 10 degrees. So you might find it's almost like it's karmic, it's fate. It's your destiny that your finances improve in some way. Venus is retrograde in Leo from here, from the 22nd of July until the 3rd of September. And so anything to do with love could slow down a bit. Okay, so that's in that first half of the year, basically. Second half of the year, but it could refer to this card here, the Four of Cups, because there might be a lot of reflection around a relationship, and it doesn't have to be a current relationship, it could be one from the past. It'll actually be retrograde from the 5th of June to the 3rd of September, and that's when you're likely to be doing a lot of thinking, and a lot of energy is internalized, but there might not necessarily be any actual physical change at that point. It might come after or before. The other thing to note is that there are 4 eclipses this year. So the first one's the 20th of April, and it's a solar eclipse in your sign, so you're likely to be very much affected by this awesome Aries, and this brings some sort of new beginning. This is probably when you're about to burst out into the world and make your statement about who you are, and you need to, not only will you, but you need to experience yourself from your own point of reference. So not what other people are telling you what you should be. You should do this job, or you should be with that person, or you should do this or that or whatever. But experiencing yourself for who you really are as a person, okay, independent of other people. Okay, so that's fairly important. There is a lunar eclipse on the 6th of May in Scorpio, which is going to be quite potent around the things that you share with other people. So these are usually assets or resources. Sometimes it's intimacy. And initially people think, oh, the 8th house, what has intimacy and assets and resources got to do with each other? But it is all about sharing, so that makes sort of complete sense on one level. So there's quite a shake-up there because the lunar eclipse is often about transformation of deep internal subconscious forces, and it shakes them all up and they come up, tumbling up to the surface. You know, it's a bit like if you go sluicing for gold, panning, you get the pan and you sort of give it a shake, and all this gold, reveals itself from all of the muddy mess, and that's what you'll be doing with your subconscious, okay? And in Mercury, it could, in Scorpio, it could bring up some very intense feelings as well. There is another solar eclipse in Libra on the 14th of October here, and this is about new beginnings in your house of partnerships. Now, yes, obviously it could be a marriage or, a solid sort of romantic commitment, but it can also be business partnerships as well, or something professional, and this is when you're working closely with another person, and so this is a new beginning that happens, so that's really beneficial. So it's like you're going to have a dredging of the river or a dredging of the lake, and you're going to find some gold, and then there's a whole lot of new beginnings and gifts that are given to you as a result. The final lunar eclipse is in Taurus on the 28th of October here, and this is going to dredge up things about what you really believe, what you think you deserve, how you value yourself, how you value your time. It's also personal finances and possessions as well. So in Taurus, it could have some real physical effects. It's an earth sign, and that means there's likely to be some sort of physical change. You're not just thinking about it, but there's more to it than that. Okay, so you can see that ultimately this is likely to be a very potent sort of year. I'll put that like that, you can see it a bit better. A very potent year for you, Aries, but some really beneficial energies, as I mentioned before. And it's almost like this is some sort of rejuvenation process, because you go through some stuff, yeah, sure, but you come out the other side sort of younger and more vital, more wise. You've got wisdom beyond your years, and you can't put a price on that. You know, you can't equate that to money, even though money is a focal point this year for you. Okay, so anyway, I hope that you found this helpful. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate that. If you are new, subscribe and be live and hit that notification bell right now. I just want to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas if you actually celebrate Christmas, because not everybody does, but I'm not across all of the holidays and things like that, so I still do Christmas. But I want to wish you all the best and a lot of prosperity and good health for 2023. And thanks so much for supporting me this year on this small channel too. Have a fabulous year, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website, absolutesoulsecrets.com, for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.